extensive zoning regulations. I myself have had to apply to the trustees for permits. I've been before the planning board, I've been before the zoning board, and I've also had to get permits from the New York State DEC for improvements to my home. Every single time I have to make some type of an improvement, I need a permit. It's certainly a very onerous, strict process, and I respect that. And I think that really is what you would need to do to maintain that process to prevent development. The power is in your hands. The biggest thing I'd like to point out is there's no sewers. So just getting public water is not a carte blanche for development. And there are very strict regulations that Suffolk County has concerning the placement of septic systems. And high-density development would not be accommodated by those rules and regulations. So I don't really see why public water would be considered such a stimulus for development, and in fact, the town can control that process and does so extremely well. Suffolk County Water Authority, as far as I know, is a nonprofit organization, so whatever charges occur because this is to cover their own costs. And when they provide water to the people in this area, I know that it would cost them much more to do so than for other areas, and yet we would all end up paying the same charges. So I think it's a rather fair distribution of charges. And I, for one, would be happy to pay a connection charge and happy to pay a monthly bill. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you.
Supervisor Russell, members of the board, my name's David Moore, and I live on the main road in Orient, and I've been there since 1968. I thought I would be the only one standing up here, the proverbial thorn among the roses, but I am very much in favor of this water system coming to Orient. I think probably I agree with 90% of what Freddie Waxberger says. I agree with 90% of what Venetia says. I agree. I think Orient's development has to be very, very, very carefully monitored. But I think that power is in the hands of the board and the zoning and the comprehensive plan. Personally, I think the first thing you should do is approve the water map, the extension of the water map, so that people that need a reliable supply of fresh water can have it. The rest of this stuff is secondary to that or is tertiary to that or something. But there are people in Orient that are struggling to maintain water supplies in their own homes, and I think that's wrong. So I urge you very much to approve the water map, put a moratorium on any kind of development based on the availability of water for the time being, come up with a comprehensive plan, make it ironclad, and I'm all in favor of that. But first, I think you should let us have the water. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
My name is Ann Hopkins, and I live in Orient. I received the Suffolk County Water Authority survey because my house on Platt Road, which I bought in 1978, is 380 feet from the main road. I have the following questions and comments about the survey. Like David Silverstone, I find it a bit lacking in some aspects. And my first question is, why did the survey only go to those of us on or close to the proposed transmission line, since SCWA has acknowledged that this line could ultimately serve the entire hamlet of Orient? I think it's important for the board in considering the results of this survey to ask, first, exactly how many households received the survey. Of those households, how many replied at all? I ask this because the letter is worded to suggest that those of us who do not want Suffolk County Water Authority water need not reply. I quote, "If you have an interest in connecting your home to our system now or in the future, would you be so kind as to complete the enclosed self-addressed stamped survey form and return it to us prior to the upcoming hearing?" I heard a figure bandied about of 70% of those responding were in favor of it at a time when I and at least one other family that I know who got the survey hadn't answered it because we didn't think we needed to. And finally, how many of those who replied said that they want Southold County Water Authority water now, and how many said that they might want it in the future? This is, after all, the point that we are making, which is just not yet.